100% inspections. And if they were right, I'd cancel the meetings right now.
Mr. President, when will those inspectors actually be on the ground?
At the appropriate time. At the appropriate time. There's no rush, but they'll be on the ground at the appropriate time.
More vessels are passing through the Strait of Hormuz, with millions of barrels of crude oil exiting the Persian Gulf each day. Secretary of State Marco Rubio is in the Middle East and said this about Iran.
If Iran makes a decision, if its leadership makes a decision that they want to be a country instead of a revolutionary movement that exports terror, they're going to have an opportunity to do incredible things in Iran. I'm not promising you that that's the choice they're going to make. I'm saying if that's the choice that they make, then there will be opportunity.
Carmelo Anthony, the Texas teen turned felon, convicted in the fatal stabbing of 17-year-old Austin Metcalf, has assembled a new team of prominent appellate attorneys. Project 21 co-chair Horace Cooper says the appeal may be successful in one respect.
Well, it depends on what the goal is. If the goal is actually to get this sentence overturned, I think it's highly, highly unlikely. However, if the real purpose is to create racial friction and engage in a publicity campaign that creates the impression that here in Texas, people aren't able to get along well, and that we have major racial conflicts, that could be effective. You've got the Benjamin Crump team working here. You've got the Texas, the president, Gary Bledsoe of the NAACP. You got people here who are capable of using a platform to create a narrative.
The race is on in Maine as incumbent Republican Senator Susan Collins tries to fend off a challenge from Democratic candidate Graham Plattner, who continues to face controversy for his past. Speaking at a Mack truck facility in Pennsylvania, President Trump criticizes Democrats for supporting Plattner.
For 8 years, 10 years, they said Trump is a Nazi. Now they can't say that anymore because they have a guy with a tattoo on his chest.
Sometimes standing for truth will cost you something, as a Christian beauty pageant contestant found out. Steve Jordahl reports The Kaylee Bush Story is a new video from American Family Studios.
Kaylee Bush started competing in scholarship pageants at 15, and despite being a tomboy at heart, she won her first pageant and became Miss Orange Blossom in 2023. The Christian teen saw the contests as a way to witness and to encourage other girls.
A main goal going in there isn't to win, it's to help show girls that their value, their worth is in Christ, their Lord, their Father, and they can't find it in beauty and hair or in makeup or any of these worldly items.
In 2025, she entered and won the Miss North Florida contest, which at the time fed into the Miss America pageant. But a few weeks into her reign, the organizers changed the rules.
In the middle of the photo shoot, I was pulled out and I was asked to sign a contract. The applicant must be female. Quote, female means a born female or an individual who has fully completed sex reassignment surgery.
But she says that conflicted with her moral standards. She pushed back in a Zoom call with pageant organizers.
Today, I'm standing to preserve sisterhood, the foundation of Miss America. But how can it be a sisterhood if the door is open to brothers?
They stood firm.
Sign the contract or step down. And so I declined to sign, resulting in the loss of my title, any scholarship opportunities, and my microphone to promote my mission.
She says God is using that decision for His glory. You can hear the rest of the story at afa.net/impact. I'm Steve Jordahl.
Oil prices fell as more ships crossed the Strait of Hormuz. More news available online at afn.net and download the AFN mobile app for your Apple or Android device. I'm Rusty Pugh.
As we watch world events unfold and fulfill Scripture, it's hard to believe anyone could doubt God and His Word are real. And yet there are so many who either question or completely refuse to believe it. The God Who Speaks is a 90-minute documentary that hits the doubt head-on with evidence that proves God is real and His Word is the ultimate authority. Watch it anytime and invite others to watch with you. Just visit stream.afa.net. That's stream.afa.net.
Welcome to Today's Issues, offering a Christian response to the issues of the day. Here's your host, Tim Wildmon, President of the American Family Association.
Hey, good morning, everyone, and welcome to today's issues here on the American Family Radio Network. Thanks for listening to AFR. You have tuned into a talk show. If you're wondering, and we got some talkers, or we brought them. Ed Vitagliano, talker number one. Good morning, Ed.
Good morning, Tim.
Good morning, Wesley Wildmon.
Good
morning. Talker number two. Number three is, I guess where am I? I'm number four. You're number three, Chris.
No, you're number one, sir.
That's what I like to hear. Huh?
Yeah.
All
Talker
right.
number one.
All right, Chris Woodward, good morning to you, brother.
Good morning. I'll be any number you need me to be. I'm just happy to be here.
Okay. That's the spirit right
It is
there.
a good spirit, good attitude.
So we have four people.
Right.
And if that's not enough,
we
at the
got
bottom
a
of the
guest.
hour,
We got a fifth.
who's that going to be?
Abe
Who's our mystery
Hamilton.
guest?
Abraham Hamilton the third will
Talk
be
about
on
a panel.
with us. Yeah.
Abraham Hamilton the third.
And he's going to be in studio with us.
Huh? Yeah.
So
And he's
we do have one chair remaining.
Yeah.
He's likely to bring it, as you like to say.
He does bring it.
He will bring it. Abe Hamilton always brings it.
Yeah.
Huh? All right. So we thank you for listening, everybody, and welcome to the program. Lot to talk about here on the show, and a lot of stories to talk about. Fred Jackson, if you're wondering, is he's on vacation this week?
Yes,
isn't he?
he's on. He actually gets paid for his time off. And
You don't?
You don't get paid?
Well, yeah, you guys joked on
Yeah.
Monday that I don't. But yeah,
we did,
Fred,
but it appears to have made you bitter.
I hold on to a lot of things. I told y'all when I leave here, I go and talk to HR for a few minutes.
It's not
But
a
anyway,
therapy show. Okay.
I'll talk to.
And there's no crying in radio either.
That's right. And if you need therapy, this is the wrong place to be.
I get a.
We got our own problems.
I've got Dr. Jessica Peck on retainer 2 times a month. But anyway, yeah, Fred's on a paid vacation and enjoying some well-deserved, much-needed time off. Although he has been emailing me, and that's Fred goes on vacation and he still forwards things. And
Tim does the same thing.
He does it at
I
like
do.
3. Fred does not. Fred sleeps from like 7 p.m. to about 3 in the morning. The only person up beyond Jake from State Farm wearing khakis at 2 a.m. is Fred Jackson.
That's it.
Tim will be on vacation down at the beach and sending stories to us.
I'm always thinking of you guys. Always
Yeah,
working.
that's why I'll text you every vacation. I text you, aren't you on vacation?
I know. Well, I can't help myself. I'm a news junkie.
Yeah.
So when I sit down at the end of the day, even on vacation, I'll get the iPad out and start checking what happened.
We
what
need to
happened in
cover
the-
this.
What happened in the news. Now, Brother Ray Pritchard, in case you're wondering, we've mentioned that he's had an attitude problem most recently, and
He's in timeout.
we've told him, I don't want to disclose everything.
Told him,
But
and
at this
told him,
point,
and
I
told
think
him.
you're safe to say
You think?
whatever.
I think, we told him to go sit in the proverbial corner
Yeah,
until he can come back with a better attitude.
that's right. You know
So,
Ray.
You know Ray.
He's constantly
Right.
yeah,
Wah,
just-
wah, 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 wah.
I
No.
never heard a guy complain more
Then
than
Ray
that
Pritchard?
guy. Oh
Yeah.
man,
It's just one after
It's
another.
a wonder he wrote a best-selling book called Anchor for the Soul, isn't it? So, and I'm just teasing. Ray basically sent me a text yesterday apologizing for having missed so much, but he had a death in the family. He also is moving to Florida from Kansas City.
Yep.
They're moving all their stuff, and people know how that.
Permanently?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. He
'Cause
decided
yeah.
to move down to the Tampa area, just north of Tampa, and then he travels to teach at Bible camps during the summer as well. So he said, I'll be sometime in mid-July. He said he'll be back in the starting lineup.
I don't know how this works in your church, but I make a motion that we check out a van and we go and we do a live remote show from Ray's house.
I'm
We are-
sure he and his wife will appreciate that as they
Right.
try to unpack.
We're going to do we're
Well,
going to
you
do it.
won't see that on radio.
No, we're saving that trip for January.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
We're going to Tampa in January, so mark that one
Oh,
down.
That's right.
I'll take
And Ray is. We're teasing obviously about Ray having a bad attitude.
Right.
Ray may have the best attitude of any person I've ever known.
Yeah.
If you if you were to spit in Ray's face, he would assume his eyebrows were on fire.
Yeah.
I've never heard that one before.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Wesley,
Did you just make that up as you went?
No, I'd heard that years ago. I always loved it because it's used for someone who's just as
You also heard the
chill
one
as
about-
can be.
Yeah, that's right.
Dawn on my leg and tell me it's raining.
I did not come up with that one, but that's
Yeah.
also
That's
awesome.
That's right.
Okay. All right, Wesley, you traveled with Ray to China. You guys went to, what has that been, 15 years ago?
Yeah.
What y'all go on a
Close to it.
10-day?
It's actually 13 years ago. Yeah, we were gone for 10 days. One day of travel there and one day of travel back, or almost a day and a half. But yeah, we went to Xi'an. I think that's how you pronounce
Nobody knows. So it doesn't
Beijing.
matter.
That's right. Went to Beijing.
Beijing. Everybody's heard of Beijing.
That's right. Made another stop along the way.
At a
Taiwan.
Buc-ee's.
Yeah, went to Buc-ee's. We actually rode a.
The Buc-ee's in Beijing.
That's right. Yeah.
How were those beaver nuggets?
Yeah. And I remember Shi means thank you in Mandarin.
Mandarin, yeah.
We also rode a train from one of those stops. I got all this documented on my desk, and I've got pictures of all this stuff. But from one of our stops to the next, it was an overnight train ride.
Ooh.
I remember doing that. It's pretty cool.
I'd like to do that.
Pretty cool.
Did
In
you go see
China,
the Great Wall of China?
Got to see. Yeah, I
Wow.
got to see the whole Great Wall of China. We rode bikes on it. We rented bikes and rode bikes on it. So.
No kidding.
Nope, no kidding. It was fun. We had 2 days of tourist work while we were there, so we had to do.
You were there for
They
ministry.
were doing ministry incognito. basically.
And they actually they sent a government agent to follow us and go with us on our tourist days.
Really?
Yep. And so that was awkward.
Yeah.
Did you speak to the person?
Yeah. And so they spoke English and Mandarin. So yeah, we had a great time.
And brought me back a wallet that I still use
Still got,
today.
yeah.
Really?
Yeah, 13 years
And it was
later.
made in
So
China.
the Chinese have been spying on
Yes.
you all this time?
Do they insert some kind of chip in wallets?
I wouldn't put it past them.
I had a good one, and y'all missed it.
Oh, what did it say?
And his wallet was made in China.
I like that.
Yeah,
I
because
like
he bought it over there
Yeah.
and brought it back,
Yeah.
but it still looks like new.
Before that, though, I was following Ray's ministry 4 or 5 years before back when I was in middle school and high school and even early days of college, I was following Ray way before, talking about his writings, his videos, his ministry, keep believing, and then having the opportunity to go was a lot of fun.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, you're listening to Today's Issues. Chris, bring forth unto us your first story.
Well, New Yorkers continue
That's all we need to hear.
They continue to
Good enough.
fall in love with these democratic socialists, not far left Democrats, not your dad's Democrats, to put it that way. And I only say this because yesterday there were primaries throughout New York State. But New York City is the one that many people are focusing their time and attention on, and rightly so, because, again, New Yorkers are leaning towards democratic socialism. 3 candidates endorsed by Zohran Mamdani, the Democratic Socialist mayor of New York City.
Zohran Mamdani?
Yes. Zohran Mamdani endorsed 3 candidates, and all 3 won. So he was 3 for 3 last night.
Right.
The candidates are Daria Liza Avila Chevalier.
Okay, good.
Claire Valdez and Brad Lander. To give
Brad
you an
won?
idea of where these people are mentally, let's now hear a montage that Rusty
we
Pete
get a
put
Brad,
together for us. Clip 1.
Solidarity is the force that we need to vanquish Trump's fascism, to abolish ICE, and to stand up to the billionaires.
Abolish ICE. Free Palestine. Organize your union. And join DSA.
What we have delivered here today is a clear mandate that the era of taking a check and cashing a check and calling it representation is over.
All right, let me ask you this. Those 3 people we just heard from who you named, are they, did they win the primary Democrat side, which is going to win the general election almost always in New York? Are these New York City councilmen? Are these U.S. congressional races?
That's a good question. They are New York congressional primaries. So these people are
primaries.
on a pathway to being
DC.
members of Congress. Yes.
Wow. So they're AOCs, except they're to the left of her.
Oh, yeah.
I think they are.
They are.
I was looking at a story here on the New York Post about this. Now, Van Jones, you guys know Van Jones, CNN commentator.
Yes.
He's pretty far left.
Yeah.
He says, quote, the roof is collapsing on the Democratic Party establishment tonight, and you can't write off New York City because this is a power center for the establishment and the insurgency. They're going head to head tonight. I couldn't tell from the quote if Van Jones approves of their win or if he's just talking about the challenge this poses to the regular liberal establishment.
Yeah.
One of these socialists / communists that won is Representative. It's Claire Valdez.
Mm-hmm.
I think is she a state representative?
She's currently a state assembly member.
Okay. And this is a statement about her from U.S. Senator John Fetterman, who's more like the old guard Democratic Party. He says some of these candidates are outrageous. They want to abolish ICE, abolish police, abolish the border. She even said, talking about Valdez, I'm not even going to say what the ugly thing was, but it was hostile to Kamala Harris. Okay, Kamala Harris is not acceptable to these people.
And she's listed as being a 2028 candidate.
Yeah.
Okay, let me tell you, a couple things here. One is if this were only New York City Council races, I really wouldn't care.
That's right.
I mean, too bad for them.
Right.
But,
you put yourself in this situation, kind of thing.
But here's what's troubling is that these people you just heard from are on a track to win in November and then go to Washington, D.C. to be U.S. House of Representative members, and they vote on legislation that affects us all. So this is why this is very concerning. May get Abe to comment on this too as well. But here, Wesley, Ed, and Chris, and listeners, let me tell you one dynamic that's maybe going to be, I don't know if it'll be reported or underreported, but New York City has the largest number of Jews anywhere in the world than Israel. Okay. Now, South Florida has a lot of Jews living there too. But New York City has the highest concentration in the greater New York area of Jewish people than any other place in America. There is coming a clash, it seems to me, and it's kind of already flared up in some places, between, okay, let me finish my point on that. But these Jews in New York vote Democrat.
Right.
Now, there are only a few places in the greater New York City area that you would consider Republican areas anymore. Now, remember, as liberal as New York is, they did vote for Bloomberg for mayor. What was his first name?
Michael.
The billionaire. They did vote for Rudolph Giuliani, 2 decades ago?
Yeah.
For mayor. So they have had some Republicans in leadership in New York City, but for the most part, it's a Democrat controlled area. But here's what I'm saying. You heard one of those congressional people right there, candidates, say Free Palestine.
Yeah.
All right. That is a direct shot at the Jews. Okay. So there is, and Mandami and his wife have expressed anti-Semitism.
That's right.
Out in the open.
Yeah.
Especially his wife. So I don't know what's going to happen there when you have all these Jews living in New York, and now you have the growing popularity of, I'd call them Jew haters.
Right.
But here's what they would say. They would say, no, we're not Jew haters. We just hate the policies of Israel and killing the Palestinians. Genocide and all that. So Free Palestine. You say Free Palestine, basically you're saying get rid of Israel. So sometimes it's a little murky, because I think you can criticize the policies of Israel without being a Jew hater.
Right.
I think that is possible. But at the same time, these folks they're not distinguishing much anymore. If you're a Jew and you support Israel, you might as well be a Nazi who supports Hitler. And so you deserve to be targeted as well. So does that make sense?
No, it does. And now here's the thing about this election, because this is first of all showing the growing power of Mamdani, because these were all endorsed by the New York City mayor.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, with all respect to Senator Fetterman, I still want to see how much this influences the Democratic Party across the country for this one reason. We mentioned this when Mamdani was elected, okay? And I looked it up just to make sure. Zoran Mamdani was not elected by a majority of native-born New Yorkers. Now, I'm reading from the AI-generated answer to my question. Exit polling indicates Mamdani lost this demographic to Andrew Cuomo by an 11-point margin. Native New Yorkers, Democrats, voted for Cuomo.
Right.
Okay. Who voted for Mamdani? Newer residents. He won 81% of those living in the city for less than 10 years who backed his campaign.
Wow.
So I'm guessing that was the same dynamic that we saw yesterday. So I'm waiting to see if this is simply a case of socialists moving to America from elsewhere, voting for continuation of socialist policies, or probably more disturbingly, if it's true, is this a nationwide movement in the Democratic Party to go socialist?
Yeah.
Here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that during COVID, if we remember back, there was a lot of moderates and traditional Democrats that left because of the COVID lockdowns. New York
left New York.
They left New York.
You've had people leaving New York for the last 8 to 10 years at droves, and especially in the last 3 to 5 years since COVID. You're having what was left of, and you got the rest of everyone else is living in the countryside, and they're not voting or showing up at the polls.
And maybe people with money, business owners, because they don't want to get taxed to death leaving as well.
That's right. Yeah, it's being left to its own demise, is what I'm seeing.
Yeah, Fox managed to find one immigrant on the streets of New York City that does not want socialism in the city that he moved to, that being New York City. And I say that based on this Q&A between the reporter and the immigrant here in clip 9.
Do you want to bring socialism in?
No.
Why?
No, why? Because I'm from Latin America. We have a Venezuela, we have a Cuba, we have a Bolivia. No one is in New York.
So that
who are we hearing from right there?
That is an immigrant in New York City that Fox was interviewing in kind of a post-election or post-primary.
So he came from a socialist country, and he says, we don't want that.
We don't want that. And he's one of an example that if you were to follow up with him in 2 years, he's going to be in Kansas.
Yeah,
he's going to be in Texas.
He's going to be in Manhattan, Kansas.
Yeah.
So that remains to be seen, is how widespread a movement this is. And I'll tell you one other thing that I think is at work in the Democratic Party, and frankly, this is probably across America amongst a lot of young people, younger even than you two guys, Wesley.
In their 20s,
Chris.
you mean? People
in their 20s, maybe early 30s. And that is the affordability crisis. I don't know what else to call it. That's what everyone calls it. I think that there are a lot of young people who see no path forward for them achieving the American dream, and I think some of them are becoming open to a more radical approach. And my own feeling is the only way for America to get past this is. This sounds, I'm not trying to over-spiritualize this, is for America to have a real awakening. Christianity has to govern even our capitalist system. Okay, you have to have a concern for other people, not just the size of your own bank account, in order for the economy to make room for people through its policies, through government policies that give young people hope. because you don't want young people to become radicalized, I guess is the thing I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because when people become radicalized, they'll take a chance on communism thinking that's the answer.
All consciousness and all reasonability, all the thinking goes out the window.
Yeah, it goes out the window.
Yeah.
And they take a chance on it. And then the old expression is you can vote your way into communism, but you got to fight your way out.
Mm-hmm.
I also think a lot of these people who are voting are idealistic, far lefties, and they really think that what their ideas are going to work and be good for America.
Yeah.
But they're also about that shallow too.
They're very shallow. They vote. They actually vote on stolen land.
Well,
which is very disappointing.
It's
to
funny,
me.
but that's how shallow their thinking
these are the
is.
stolen land people that we're talking about.
They actually had a so-called land acknowledgement ceremony at the opening of Obama's presidential library, where they talked about how this building, which by the way is really ugly, is built on stolen land. And so they began by talking about and giving a shout out to all the Native American tribes that used to occupy this land. If it's stolen land and it's wrong for us
You
to
got to
have
give it back.
why are you building a building on it?
That's insane.
They built the Obama Library on stolen land.
Yeah.
And they acknowledged it, but I guess in parentheses,
yeah,
too bad it's lousy to be you.
Suck it up, cheap buttercup.
Yeah. I am not making this up at all. People can look it up. They meet a couple of times a week. But the L.A. County, Los Angeles County Board of Supervisors, they begin every meeting with a land acknowledgement talking about how we are meeting on land of umpteen tribes.
How does that help? If you're a Native American, how does that help you?
Right.
I do that.
You're
when
just
I,
getting reminded every time.
Yeah.
I do that when I lay pine straw at my house. I think about the stolen land that this flower.
The reason we know he's joking is because he's never laid pine straw.
No, I think
Actually,
he's
I
done
have.
that.
He's always
I've
that
done
part
some
he's
pine
done.
straw.
Oh, that's
But
he doesn't.
But your mama likes to mow the grass, and I do not want to take that away from her.
Right. It's a
You know what I'm
blessing.
saying?
It's a blessing for her.
It's a
You can't take her blessing
It makes her
away.
happy. Get out there on the lawnmower and not talk to anybody for 2 hours. And if I were to say, "Let me do that for you,"
Yeah, that's right.
I would be stealing her joy.
Yes.
And I don't want to.
You're a great man, Tim.
Well, we all make sacrifices. You know what I'm saying? Let's go ahead and take our break a little early here as we broadcast from
Cheap alert.
stolen land.
Probably stolen land.
Stolen land.
I missed that
And I guess Abraham Hamilton III, he's on his way, right? We're expecting him. He said he'll be here. He committed.
He just walked past.
He
I
did?
saw him.
Okay,
Yeah.
good deal.
He's going to get popcorn.
Well, that's a man after my own heart right there.
Right there.
We'll be back momentarily with more of today's issues on the American Family Radio Network.
It's my turn.
Here is your host for My Turn, Don Wildmon.
Back more than 100 years ago, a father gave his son sufficient money with which to attend college until he earned his diploma. The father told his son that this was all the money he was to have. Said that if the son spent it wisely, it would be more than enough for him to graduate from college. The young boy took the money and went off to school. At the end of the first year, he returned home and told his father that he'd spent all the money and needed more in order to return to school. To the young man's surprise, his father refused to give him another penny. He told him that he'd already given him plenty of money to go to college on, and that there would be not another penny forthcoming. Stunned, the boy found that all the props had been removed from beneath him. While living it up in his freshman year, he never thought that his father would refuse to give him more money. His father had it, and he was going to have a good time on it. But now the money source was gone. He had to sink or swim totally on his own merits. There are many who would criticize the father for his action. In today's modern society, there are those who would claim that the father's action would destroy the boy's personality and that he should continue to support the boy no matter what he did. Other folks would defend the boy's right to more money on educational grounds, that the boy had a right to seek his own education as he saw fit. I guess for a large number of folks today, the father's action was totally wrong. They send their kids off to school and continue to supply the funds no matter what Junior does or what grades he makes. They blame the teachers if Junior flunks the course and blame the establishment if he gets caught breaking the rules. Junior isn't wrong, they cry, but the rules are. The rules should be changed to protect Junior. Divinely implanted in each person is a desire to be a responsible person. We're made that way. Sometimes it's necessary to face the worst, even a cross, in order to bring out the best. Somehow I have an idea that the young boy's father took a signal from a higher power. For our Creator tells us there are certain laws that we're to live by, and if we break them, then we must be prepared to pay the penalty. Often, as we have to pay the penalty, we become responsible citizens in His world. Well, the young boy went back to school without any money, worked his way through, graduated at the head of the class, studied law, was elected governor of the state of New York, and became the Secretary of State during the Civil War. He was later responsible for the purchase of some land, which many dubbed Seward's Folly. Today, the folly is known as Alaska. The young boy's name was William Seward. His father's discipline saved him from a possible life of wastefulness. You know, maybe discipline isn't so bad after all.
This has been My Turn with Don Wildmon, a production of the American Family Association.
Hello, everyone. Tim Wildmon, president of American Family Association and American Family Radio. We are going to Italy in March of 2027. We're also going to Greece in March of 2027, and we're doing those tours back to back if you want to do both of them. In Italy, we'll be going to Venice, we'll ride the gondola and see all the sights there, and we'll go to Pisa and walk on the Leaning Tower of. If you fall off, we're not responsible. Also, we're going to Rome and see the Sistine Chapel and the Colosseum and all the catacombs. We'll see all the sights of Rome. And in Greece, it's the Footsteps of Paul trip, so the places where Paul went in the Bible mentioned in Greece. If you want information on any of these tours, go to tours.afa.net, tours.afa.net, tours.afa.net.
But you, Lord, are a compassionate and gracious God, slow to anger, and abounding in love and faithfulness. Psalm 86:15.
This is today's issues. Email your comments to comments@afr.net. Past broadcasts of today's issues are available for listening and viewing in the archive at afr.net. Now, back to more of today's issues.
Hey, welcome back, everybody, to today's issues on the American Family Radio Network. Tim, Ed, Wesley, and Chris, and now Abraham Hamilton III joins us. Good morning, Brother Abe.
Good morning.
Hey, just to clarify, we were talking at last segment about the how far left these the emerging what would I say? I don't know if to say leaders. The emerging delegation of new people elected to office in the Democrat Party. Let me put it that way.
In their 30s.
Are far lefties, far lefties. But I joked and said, and I'm not too far off, that they're the same people that believe that we're living on stolen land in the U.S. Huh?
Yeah.
That's their ideology. So, Abe, let me ask you this. this, I was going to clarify, but I won't get into that because it'll take us down a rabbit hole, and I'll be here for 10 more minutes, and before we emerge, and only to learn it was a gopher hole. Abe, these people that we've talked about, Chris mentioned in New York City last night, who 3 of them, they were 3 for 3, and these people are far, far left politically, and they're going to probably be elected to Congress, so they're going to go to D.C. and affect all of us with their ideology and their votes. What's driving this emergence of far lefties in New York, Boston, Chicago, Seattle, Portland, L.A.? We see this happening across the country in big city America. Washington, D.C.
Yeah, D.C.
They just elected their own Mandani.
Yeah, it's the same agenda and movement, if you will, that led to AOC's election. So you have these far left radical groups that look for candidates to prop up to run. You know, that's what happened with this Graham Plattner guy in Maine, that he was recruited to run by some of these people because the momentum in the Democrat Party, as well as the funding, is primarily behind these radicals. It is, you know as well as I know, that you used to be a thing called a blue dog Democrat that does not exist anymore because the party has made the decision to recast itself, frankly, officially almost, as the Socialist Party of America. That's why you have Bernie Sanders running for the presidency as an open Democratic Socialist, AOC openly running as a Democratic Socialist, these people now openly running as Democratic Socialists. And so they're at the next phase of their agenda to really move the United States of America more formally into a socialist direction.
Have they really taken over the Democrat Party? Because we have John Fetterman speaking out. You have the traditional Democrats, which are far too liberal for my liking, but still they're Joe Biden types. They are Joe Manchin. They still are there.
But you have to ask yourself: are they supported and celebrated, or are they tolerated? The reality is the Democrat Party, by and large, is really, really upset with Fetterman. You know, and many of them did not expect Fetterman to be Senator Fetterman the way that he is, as he campaigned.
And he's up for re-election.
And a question will be in 28. Do you think he will be supported by the Democrat Party?
No, I don't.
Or will he be primary?
Probably not. Although in Pennsylvania is more conservative than they say New York, for example. So I'm not sure where that goes. But what we're saying here, we're seeing the emergence, I use that word, of the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, AOC, far left ideology, and that's emerging as the driving force to elect new Democrat candidates, and they're like pushing out what they call the establishment, and they AOC and her ilk are about to become the establishment.
That's what they're seeking to accomplish.
This trio of victories for commies in New York City yesterday. We mentioned this Representative Claire Valdez that Fetterman criticized, but she won her primary by more than 20 points. They're not just squeaking victories out. Abe, let me just ask you this. Now, there are different types of socialist approaches when it comes to changing the political landscape. There is the more incremental approach where you elect socialists, they vote for socialist policies, free this, free that. But at its core, let me ask you this. True socialism, true communism, are they compatible with our Constitution?
No. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Socialism and communism are not compatible with our Constitution. That's why you had, I have to go back here because this is what they meant when they said these words, the fundamental transformation of the United States of America. They know as America has been constituted, our founding documents, our separation of powers, it's not conducive to socialism and communism. So in order to have that in our country, it has to come as a result of a fundamental transformation. And that's why they work so hard to try to persuade younger people. It's the same thing. Iran is in the news. People often forget that the revolution in Iran was often fomented by the younger generations of Iranians who welcomed the transition toward the Islamic Republic, which they have now. Unsuspectingly. Similarly in Virginia, for example, Governor Abigail Spanberger, who I unaffectionately call Abercrombie and Fitch, Governor Abercrombie, she campaigned as a moderate, but she governed as a conventional 21st century Democrat. And we're going to see that all around the country even more. There will be some who campaign as if this is not their true agenda and true.
Especially in more conservative states.
Especially in more conservative states. But once they secure power, look how they govern. And so the reality of the John Fettermans and others, the Democrat Party at this stage wants to see them move further and further to the margins and nationalization, if you will, of the squad.
I think that, Wesley, you might want to comment, Chris. I know we got another story to get to. I think still today that helps the Republicans on a national level. Let me tell you what, now, I don't know how much, because I'm thinking of the Electoral College map for president. That's what I'm thinking of primarily. And, you know, the Republicans have to win Ohio. The Republicans have to win Florida. They have to win those states to sort of counteract New York and California as best they can. And Texas has always been red. You know, I think it'll stay red. But it's those purple states like Pennsylvania, like Michigan, like Wisconsin. We think of those states, and Georgia now, you know, is purple. So Virginia, yeah. So I just wonder. I think on statewide elections that hurts. If you got a far lefty running, that hurts Democrats in purple states. But that remains to be seen. But you know, I don't know. I don't bring forward statistics for that. I'm just thinking. You know.
Yeah, and in order for it to actually hurt, I think the Republicans will have to do a good job of showing the kind of sleight of hand that transpires when you have the James Talafrico attempt to present himself. Oh, I was just kidding when I said God is non-binary, and oh yeah, I said some things wrong. Like when he says, like, yeah, I'm a Christian who hates Christianity.
Yeah.
He said that, by the way.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, I hate Christianity. Oh, you know, it was just a misstep. I don't really feel that way. And
I saw a survey last night in Texas for the Senate race, and for those who don't know, that's the AG Paxton. First name? Ken. Versus James Talarico. What have you nicknamed him?
Talafrico.
Do you work for Trump? Are you the guy who feeds him nicknames?
I do not.
Okay. Anyway, and the poll showed Paxton ahead. This is polling, and this is for a November race by like 1 or 2%. So that's the headline said pulls ahead, and I'm going, well, how far did he pull ahead? So I don't know how accurate that is, but it's a very close race right now in Texas. I think Paxton will win in the end. I mean, they said Ted Cruz was going to lose there too. He did not. He won. Now, is it a 10-point margin anymore in Texas? No, but it's still 5. You know what I'm saying? Statewide in a statewide election.
That's why I think, and let others jump in too. But I don't think the commie candidates are gonna hurt the Democratic Party against the Republicans, because they, and Abe used the expression sleight of hand, is they frame the issues around bread and butter, kitchen table kinds of issues that are going to drive a lot of people to the polls.
Universal health care.
All
Free
that
college.
stuff.
Depending on the jurisdiction.
Yes.
So in New York, they'll go full on.
Right.
You know, globalized intifada.
Government grocery
government
stores.
grocery stores. Yeah. But in Virginia,
but that's, to me, that is why this is a dangerous movement, because these folks can come to power, and then once they're in power, they just start writing the legislation, and it's very difficult to claw this back. We have 4 years of Joe Biden. We're having to claw back all the people who came into this country illegally, all the policies, all the fraud, all the money that was going to USAID, all this stuff. It's very difficult to get it back once it's been passed.
All right, you're listening to Today's Issues on the American Family Radio Network. Abe Hamilton III joining us this segment. Ed, Wesley, and Chris. Wesley and Chris, go ahead. Wesley,
I
go
do think
ahead.
the Republicans have made a lot more progress than we realize, because if you think about Trump won the electoral vote and he won the popular vote. In addition to that, we've had a lot of victories in the woke movement, the DEI movement.
You mean against those things?
Against those things. We've also, under the Trump administration, we've shut down the border for the most part. There's not as much illegal immigration. Could we do better?
You think those things help in elections in purple states?
I do think so. And I do think, in contrast, we've seen at times I forget the gentleman, the guy who said this, but he said, "Yeah, we're going to take your guns." What was the gentleman's name?
Oh, that was Beto.
Beto.
Oh, yeah, Beto.
Anybody says that's not a gentleman, but go ahead.
Yeah. That's a good point.
I get your idea. You're being nice.
Yeah.
You mean the candidate that tried to beat Ted Cruz?
Beto O'Rourke.
He was the Tellerico before Tellerico.
Yeah.
We've seen, in contrast, the far left and the Republican candidate, and they're going further and further, bigger and bigger gap between them, that it's easier to see the difference between the two. And I was going to ask Abe on this. I mentioned this right before you came on. I think New York, that also comes from a lot of the traditional Democrats, moderates leaving New York, leading up in the last 5 to 8 years, and you're seeing that in other states too. So I've been saying since COVID that red states are going to become more red, purple state or blue states are going to become more blue. I think you're going to get less of purple. So.
Yeah. All right. Chris? What's the next story we wanted to bring up with Abe?
Well, one thing that we could combat socialism and Marxism with is patriotism, love of country, and the principles upon which our great nation is founded.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, more and more Americans are not exactly patriotic these days, and that's not me saying it. It's the Associated Press NORC poll, which is from the University of Chicago, and they found that more Democrats and young people say conflicted or indifferent describes their feelings about America 250. About 4 in 10 Democrats and roughly 3 in 10 adults under 30 say conflicted describes their feelings extremely or very well. About 3 in 10 in each case feel indifferent. So liberal-minded people, not happy with America. Sadly, only about half of Republicans, 54%, say they feel excited about this country's anniversary.
Before Abe answers this, and I appreciate you bringing that poll up, but polls like that need a lot more, sub-polling data to understand fully what we're talking about here, because patriotism, is that defined as excitement for the moment? Because if you would have asked me during the Obama and Biden years, some of the agenda that they were carrying out, are you excited about America? And I'd have said no. But it wouldn't have been I'm unpatriotic and don't love this country. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's a little bit.
But this was specifically about how you feel about America in the 250th.
Heading into our 250th anniversary.
But you're saying that's a snapshot in time, not.
That's what I'm saying, probably. I remember in 1776.
If you remember that.
Yeah, I got a time
I
machine.
need to know where you parked.
I know.
What are you eating?
I got to back
What's your
off
diet?
on this coffee popcorn combo. Okay, if I'm traveling 200 years, 250 years back.
Say 1986, right?
I was going to say 1976.
Okay, I got you.
Long before you were on this earth, Wesley and Chris. When were you born?
1980.
Wow.
Well, before Abe, too.
Ed, I'm looking at you, brother. It's you and me. Us graybeards.
Just us.
I look like I'm old enough to be Wesley's grandpa.
I graduated.
look
I
older than you.
graduated in 1976.
Oh, well, I graduated in 81, so you're even. Anyway, the point is, I do have one. The point is, I remember in 1976, there was universal, overwhelming celebration in our country. There's never even a thought that I remember. Now, I would have been 13, so I I wasn't exactly consuming national news,
right?
Or polls or surveys, but just I remember in those years there was overwhelming. People may be a Democrat or a Republican, it didn't matter. They loved this country and they wanted to see the best for this country, and
that was in the wake of all the trouble over the Vietnam War and Watergate.
Yeah, that's right. Even had that as the backdrop. So then there were, half of America was upset about us being in.
And the Civil Rights Movement.
The Vietnam. That
was in the late 60s. And it was.
But you had a lot of turmoil.
Right. Yeah.
In our country, but yet there was a unifying spirit among all people, almost all people in America, that America was worth celebrating. The ideal, not that we were perfect, you had a lot, but the ideal of what America could be and had.
Yeah, I mean, in the anecdotal reference in 1976 to 2026, I mean, there's been a consistent and concerted effort to once again infiltrate the hearts and minds of younger Americans, to have 1619 Project style revisionism communicated that will manipulate younger generations of Americans away from what's true about the country. It's not perfect, but when you consider a poll like that, I would say contrast it with a lot of the foreigners who are visiting our country for the World Cup.
Right. Yeah. Hey, let's play that right now.
Okay. Yeah, we got
it. Good point, Abe. So what we're about to play, Wesley, you found this, didn't you?
Yes.
What did you find?
I found a clip with Jake Tapper interviewing.
Huge Jake Tapper fan. You are.
Interviewing a German soccer fan or player.
Soccer fan.
Soccer
Was it
fan.
Freddie from Germany?
This is Freddie, I think.
Freddie,
isn't it?
that's it, yeah.
Who's traveling the country.
And he was asked, what did he think about his experience while being here? Go play the clip.
What do you make of all the viral content coming out of this tournament and all the love for the European tourists from the American people as you show us our country with fresh eyes?
In Europe, we have a lot of rather negative news about the Americans in the last 5 years, let's say that. And I think we are all enjoying the fact that this country is so great to visit. The people are amazing, so welcoming. The culture is amazing. It's like Europeans are getting a new view of America right now, I think, through our content, and that's cool, I think.
And you said that Jake Tapper. Did you say he was
really
disappointed to hear that?
That's right.
Is there any more to that?
For Jake Tapper's last day. Yeah.
That's it. I think that. Well, that's all we got. There may have been more there, but I know that the biggest reason I sent that, I mentioned this in the show prep meeting. It's even better if you see the video because Jake Tapper's like, I did not want to hear that. That is not. But it's one of those where you're smiling like, okay, did he just say that? Yes, he did. And so.
And Freddie from Germany is one. I played some clips on my show of this. You have people from Scotland, from Japan, from Ghana, from all over the world. And one guy said, we owe the United States of America an apology. What the media and our elected officials have been telling us about this country is not true. One guy went so far as to say, I don't know why anybody in America would be upset because you have Texas Roadhouse in your country. You walk in, they give you a bag of peanuts.
And the bread and the butter.
Yeah, and then he said that.
Cinnamon butter.
Free
refills.
Free refills blew this European cat's mind. He was like, they give you free, and every cup comes with ice. And it's easy for us to laugh at, but we can take these things for granted. It's almost like you have to be a modern, revisionist, younger American to despise our country. But when you see our country with fresh eyes, even with all of the difficulties, the challenges, this is still the best nation in the world.
All right, let me ask you the $64,000
And then Wesley
question.
wants to speak.
Oh, all right, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I'll just add to all this, is that the deception of our education system, both public schools but also in college, it's not necessarily that, in some cases, they just outright lie, but in more cases, they just purposefully leave out the good things.
Right.
Well, that's my question.
Yes.
My question is, for the last 50 years, is this just the accidental result of people teaching our young people and they happen to have a personal distaste for America, or was this an intentional, I don't want to say plot, but is this an intentional effort to undermine America by destroying the people's love for our history?
And I don't want to sound unnecessarily conspiratorial, but the fact is it is intentional. I can cite you from 1972. Chester Pierce said every 5-year-old coming to school in America comes to school mentally ill. mentally ill. And he said this at an international education conference. And you ask, well, why are you saying they come to school mentally ill? Well, because they show up at 5 with certain allegiances, to the founding fathers of our country. Certain allegiances to this
I
nation.
pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of
to
America.
a separate entity. Certain allegiances to their own parents. Allegiances to God. And it's the role of the educator to make all of these sick children well. That's what Chester Pierce said in 1972.
And he was
a dean of education at Harvard University and a leading advocate for formational education from K through 12. Now, this is not 2022. 1972, he was saying these things.
Yeah.
And what Wesley said is exactly right. It's not always affirmative misrepresentations, but it's calculated and intentional omissions from our national history that leaves you with a perception to ultimately shape the perception. So it's not like, hey, I'm going to tell Ed this falsity, but I'm going to just say, Ed, Wesley, sometimes he's grumpy.
That's right.
Which may be true, but that's not the whole of who Wesley is.
Right.
But if all you know is Wesley is grumpy, you're
and
like,
we're seeing this with these Europeans. They were hearing all this stuff about America, and it wasn't true.
Africans.
Africans, Japanese,
or
all over
I
the
love
world.
the Japanese because they clean up their own mess.
Yes. That's the thing. That's the terrible thing. They come over here and take care of something that isn't even theirs, and we got
Japanese,
people
the
that are,
stories about the Japanese.
Yeah, clean it up after themselves.
At the
And we got
soccer.
umpteenth generation Americans that are like, that's somebody's job.
Yeah,
It's terrible.
And the Japanese do that all over the world. But the disdain for our country and the apathy concerning something like the 250th anniversary of our Declaration is not just a casual coincidence. It's a manufactured outcome, a manufactured result.
I just want to just toss this in. I'm sure we go on and on. I read a book many years ago called The Collapse of the Third Republic. It was about the fall of France in World War II. How quickly, a lot of people don't know this, France had the largest army in Europe at the time.
Even larger than the
Even
Nazis?
larger than the Nazis. It collapsed in 6 weeks. And William Manchester, who wrote this book, he was over there when this happened. He writes this, it's a very long book, but he said the collapse of France in World War II is in part because the people were taught to hate their own country. And when it came time to run, now a lot of French soldiers actually fought very, very courageously and bravely, but the people who ran said, why should I die for this country? And what I fear is that more and more people are being taught to despise the nation to where there's nothing worth fighting for.
The part I find curious, and you ask, well, Tim, what part is that? And so I'll tell you. These people on the far left have such disdain for our country. And yet, they want millions of people to come into our country and experience the systemic racism themselves. and all the problems that we have here in our country, the fascism. And yet, let's open our borders and see the millions come in who want to live in that.
Yeah.
Because somebody is lying, too.
Yes,
I said the exact same thing. The two things can't be true. This can't be the worst nation in the world.
Right.
Oppression.
Now come to America.
Suffer.
Right.
But y'all come out here.
Yeah, those leftists, if they believe what they're saying, they're the ones who should be wanting to build the wall.
Yeah.
You don't want to come.
You don't want to come here. It's terrible.
It's filled with zombies.
It's fascist.
We're putting others before ourselves.
Fascist zombies.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Abe. What do you got coming up this afternoon on your show?
I'm going to continue walking through some of the details of the MOU between Iran and the U.S. I actually sent some of the stuff to Ed. We went through points 1 through 10 yesterday, 1 through 9 yesterday. We'll go through points 10 through 14 today.
Right. Well, thanks, Abe, and we'll be back in 5 minutes with more of today's issues.
The views and opinions expressed in this broadcast may not necessarily reflect those of the American Family Association or American Family Radio.
Faith, family, freedom. American Family Radio.
Where can you access instruction and inspiration from scholars, apologists, authors, preachers, and activists to deepen your Christian understanding? You could enroll in seminary, but a better way might be the AFA Cultural Institute. You'll find a collection of more than 50 informative inspirational video lectures with more to come. Visit stream.afa.net to experience the AFA Cultural Institute.
This is American Family Radio, a listener-supported ministry of the American Family Association.
American Family News, I'm Rusty Pugh. It's been more than a week of searching for a man who police say killed one person and injured 4 others in a string of random shootings in Kansas City. Todd Pyro reports.
This manhunt now stretching into its 8th day. Police say 22-year-old Oscar Sanchez Munoz is wanted for allegedly carrying out 5 separate shootings in the Kansas City area, just a few miles south of the city's World Cup venue. He apparently caused a fiery standoff with officers before escaping the scene, all while being wanted for a different shooting in Kansas earlier this month. The motive for this spree of violence still unclear this morning, but the suspect's brother is saying his sibling struggles with mental health issues, and Sanchez Munoz's mother tells News Nation she believes her son has schizophrenia.
The Senate passed a war powers resolution yesterday to block President Trump from taking further military action in Iran as he threatens to resume fighting if a final agreement can't be reached. Pennsylvania Democrat Senator John Fetterman says it backs away from a promise to defend Israel, saying he's standing by the Jewish state despite criticism from the progressives in his party.
I'm going to continue to follow Israel through all of this in their interest and the kinds of security that they demand. And for me, that's why I was being the only Democrat that would vote and continue to vote for it.
South Carolina Attorney General Alan Wilson won a runoff election yesterday, swiftly routing the candidate initially endorsed by President Donald Trump to be the Republican nominee for governor.
I believe he recognized what we've been doing for the last 10 years to support the things he was trying to accomplish with his administration. But also, I think he saw the fight that in our campaign, the energy in our campaign. And I think he likes a fighter, and I think that's what won him over. I want to thank you, Mr. President.
The oil business is booming in West Texas. Brooke Taylor reports from Lubbock.
We wanted to hear from the people who produce America's energy, so we headed to West Texas. We spent the day on an active drilling rig, and we spoke to these oil men who are really keeping a close eye on Iran and the Strait of Hormuz. Right outside of Lubbock, crews are drilling nearly 1.5 miles into the ground, searching for oil. Drilling contractor Cole Green says business is booming. It's the busiest it's been in years as higher oil prices drive more interest in drilling. More drilling doesn't mean oil men want prices to climb. Independent producer Cactus Schroeder says there's a sweet spot, high enough for producers to make money, but not so high that Americans get squeezed at the pump.
Mayors around the world have signed an agreement to shape data center development. Chris Woodward tells us why.
The pact comes amid concerns that data centers will devour natural resources, drive up energy prices, and prevent governments from hitting climate targets. It's not that mayors don't want data centers. Rather, the mayors want data centers done responsibly. To quote the mayor of Phoenix, "We just want to make sure we get it right for our local residents and for the health of our planet." Patrick Hedger, director of policy at Net Choice, said it's good that mayors want data centers to become part of their communities, adding they bring investment and potential jobs to communities. But Hedger says there's a lot of misinformation about data centers.
And I worry that this action is being shaped by that misinformation related to resource use and their impact on communities. And the mistaken idea that data centers are not already subject to all of the applicable regulations related to energy use, water usage, pollution, noise and other nuisance ordinances, and land use restrictions.
I'm Chris Woodward.
And finally, a giraffe is on the lam after vanishing from a Texas ranch over a week and a half ago, and her owner is offering a reward to bring her back. Gianna Gelosi reports.
The giraffe named Gracie disappeared from Cedar Hollow Ranch in the Hill Country region of Texas about a week and a half ago when she was last spotted on a game camera. Her owner says she vanished after feeding on a hillside where giraffes don't typically frequent, wandering off to an unfenced area on the other side of an 8-foot-tall gate. Gracie is between 3 and 4 years old and has rounded ears. She's one of 2 giraffes on the property that houses several hundred exotic animals. Her owners are now offering a $5,000 reward for information leading to her capture. Gianna Gelosi, Fox News.
There's more news online at afn.net and on the AFN mobile app. I'm Rusty Pugh.
The mission of AFA is to inform, equip, and activate individuals and families to strengthen the moral foundations of American culture and give aid to the church here and abroad in its task of fulfilling the Great Commission. AFA upholds the truth that all human beings, including the unborn, are created in the image of God and are worthy of life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness.
Thank you for standing with the American Family Association.
Jesus told us to go into all the world and make disciples. American Family Radio is following that Great Commission everywhere our network reaches. You can help by becoming a Great Commission partner. Not only will you be helping to fund our efforts, but you'll also gain access to everything published on stream.afa.net. There you'll find educational materials, documentaries, and video versions of AFR programs. Learn more and become a Great Commission partner at stream.afa.net.
Today's Issues continues on AFR with your host, Tim Wildmon, President of the American Family Association.
Welcome back. Welcome back to Some Things Considered right here on American Family Radio. I'm your host, Tim Wildmon.
A few things considered.
Ed Vitagliano, the quiet Italian, sitting to my left. All right, Wesley.
I prefer tariff talk. I missed
Tariff
that.
talk?
Tariff talk, yeah.
I missed that.
We had so much good stuff and fun with tariff talk as long as it lasted.
Yeah.
We haven't had the opportunity. We haven't been mentioned.
Probably got about 3 weeks out of that.
Yeah.
A good 3 weeks
Tariff
out of that.
talk. Wesley Wildmon joining us. Steve Paisley Jordahl.
Hey, everybody.
Is in the house.
Hello.
If I can go full 90s on you.
Hello,
Tim. In the house. Huh?
Raise the roof, baby.
Let's raise the roof. Is that 90s too?
Are we doing the
That's
FM
90s.
thing? Because I can do the FM thing. Hello. This is today's issues.
That's good. What was it Arsenio Hall made popular?
Raise the roof in the
fist
house.
pump? Did he do
in the house?
Fist pump?
Remember Arsenio?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, he's still.
Bill Clinton playing the saxophone.
Yeah. All right. Good morning, Steve.
Hey, good morning.
How are you?
I'm doing well, thank you.
Okay. What do you got leading your story stacked right there?
President Trump has been tweeting again.
And all America goes silent in anticipation of.
This morning,
please be.
Or actually, last night, he tweeted out this.
Wait, tweeted he? Truth Social.
Truth Social.
Yeah.
He put a truth out.
Yeah.
Well,
is that the verb?
I think this. Yeah, you truth.
You truth.
You truth things.
Truth out.
Well,
peace out.
He posted. The big oil companies are not dropping their prices at the pump commensurate with the sharply lower prices they're paying for oil. Those prices are dropping like a rock. In other words, customers are being gouged. I've instructed the DOJ to immediately start looking into this. Gasoline prices better start going down a lot faster than what I'm seeing. President JT. So he's sounding a little bit like a Democrat.
I got something to say to that. Okay, I would like to hear that from President Trump if that holds true in a month. What he's just said right there.
Yeah.
I don't believe.
You don't believe the DOJ is going to look into it?
No, I do. You knew the answer to that, Steve, before you asked me.
You don't believe. Oh,
and
the
when I
gouging
say
part.
I don't believe, I'm not calling President Trump a liar. Okay. I'm saying that the price of gasoline has a process, and it takes about probably 4 to 6 weeks for the price at the pump to catch up with the supply chain. So just because oil prices dropped in the last 3 days or 4 days because of good news from the Iran U.S. negotiations doesn't mean tomorrow morning the gas goes back to where it was 4 months ago. Is that fair?
I think that's fair, and I think that's accurate what you're saying, because I didn't know this till several years ago when I saw some interview with some folks who owned gas stations. They were asked this question. It was somewhere around, in the post.
They do seem to go up quicker than they go down.
Yes, and that was what they were asked. And here's the explanation they gave, because they said, listen, we kind of get attacked when the prices go up quicker than they come down. He said, here's what's at play. He said, I own a gas station. If the supply of oil looks like it may be endangered by a war, for example,
or a hurricane,
he said, that means what you're talking about, Tim, the price of gasoline is going to go up. I have to set aside money to pay for that a more expensive gas, I have to set aside money to pay for that now. I can't wait 3 weeks.
You don't know what's going to happen.
Because the price is going to be higher when it's time for me to pay for it. So what these folks were saying is, if there's a hurricane or a war or something, I will raise the price immediately so I can start getting the money in hand so I can pay for the more expensive gas when it gets here in a month. But that's not the way it works in reverse.
And you remembered all that.
Well, it just made sense to me because I was with President Trump. I was saying somebody is not playing the game the right way. So I'm guessing also that there is still some insecurity about whether this goes through. I'm talking about the negotiations and the.
Well, it doesn't help that the strait's open and closed and then open.
Yes.
Wait, is it?
Yeah, they open, close, open, close.
That doesn't
And so
help.
I'm guessing some of these people who own these gas stations are going, I'm not sure how much gas is going to cost in a month, so I'm not coming down as quickly.
I think President Trump is doing what a lot of politicians do. He's not the first one.
Right.
You know, you got to blame the oil companies for the price of gasoline. Let me tell you, and listen, this is not in the Bible. So we can disagree,
right?
Still be friends. Why can't we be friends?
Why can't
now,
we
I
be
know
friends?
some people that can find it in the Bible.
Okay, you can find it in the Bible.
Oh yeah, whatever you're about to say.
Okay,
I know some people.
All right, they can find
it has to do with the end time.
Oh,
they can find a Bible verse for gas prices.
Yes, they can.
Okay, well, I'd like to hear it. Not really. So I would just say this too. When I drive down the street and I go 5 miles, there's going to be 10 options for me to get gasoline.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? And guess what? All those stores want me to come in.
Yeah.
They don't make any money off gasoline hardly. They want me to come in and buy a candy bar and a Coke or a sandwich or...
Maybe they got chicken strips. They got
chicken strips, whatever. So they want to get me in the store, right? Why do they want to gouge people and be 10 cents higher than the next guy just for what that didn't
I think President Trump was blaming
people in your stores.
He was blaming the oil companies, I think, not the people who own the gas stations.
I'm saying for yes, true, but I'm saying for people who say the people in our town are colluding to keep the gas prices up, and I'm going like, well, what evidence do you have for that? But I would go to, I think most convenience store owners, be they a chain or a mom and pop, they want people in their store, so they don't want to show a gasoline price that's 10 cents higher than the next guy down the street when people have to consider where they're going to go to get their gas and then go into the store and get other things. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
So I don't believe in collusion. Now, if you do, that's fine. As I said, please, we can still be brothers and everything. But Trump here is doing it's the old card. It's the old blame the oil company CEOs or whatever. He said, this is what President Trump said, the big oil companies are not dropping their price at the pump commensurate with the sharply lower prices they are paying for oil.
I will say this. I agree with what you're saying with gas stations and all that you just laid out. I do believe there is some collusion when it comes, and I've been saying this for a while. Okay, so I'm not new to this.
Conspiracy theory alert.
Yes.
Straight ahead.
So,
brought to you by Ed Vitagliano.
I think grocery stores have been keeping their prices artificially high.
Okay.
All right, because I think they believe Americans will gripe about it, but they're going to come in and pay the higher prices. And the reason I say this is because the amount of inflation, quote unquote, that I saw post-COVID, during COVID and after COVID, doesn't line up with the actual inflation rate in our country. It's far higher, okay? And also, when big companies, not the mom and pop thing, but big companies, well, I'm not going to start naming them. I don't want to pick on anybody. When they get a cash infusion and a cash stream, they don't like turning off that spigot. And I can prove it. You remember when we used to be able to fly and have our luggage go free? You remember? Mm-hmm. And then they started charging $25 a bag. All right? That was supposed to be temporary. Well, guess what? It's not temporary anymore because that was a revenue stream for major airlines that they liked.
Yeah.
And I think big grocery stores like this revenue stream with the extra cost to consumers, and they're probably not going to lower those prices unless they're forced to by economic reality.
I would think that grocery stores are a lot more habitual. In other words, you shop at the same grocery store. You don't shop around for grocery stores like you probably do for gas. I don't have any loyalty to any particular gas station, but I do go and buy my groceries at Walmart, or I buy my groceries at Kroger or wherever. It's just the way it is, and I don't even, So that's buying into it as well.
Isn't that on you then to not shop around for better prices?
Yeah.
Okay, and so let me just give you the proof.
Yeah.
Okay, most people who watch this show.
Boy, Ed's getting serious. He's pointing his Diet Coke.
My Diet Coke.
Your Diet Coke.
During COVID,
Wow,
I
look
could
at
buy
this.
a 6-pack of these 16-ounce Diet Cokes for under $3. Okay, $3 a 6-pack. They're now $6 or $7. That is far above the inflation rate. And I just think that these stores, they're all like this. They just said, you know what? Ed wants his Diet Coke. He's going to pay whatever we charge.
I agree with Ed on this one. Hey, by the way, so I was paying our pesticide bill.
Oh yeah,
they come by and spray for bugs. Every 3 months they come by. Well, I was online paying the other day, and I didn't need to see this, but I clicked on accidentally clicked on previous statements. And in 2021, 2022, it was $62. And as of yesterday when I paid it, it was $89. That's in 3 years. You can't just going up almost $25 or $30. That's like $10 a year. Anyway,
and I'm sure all these outlets will say, "Hey, it's more expensive for us too," and there's some of that to it.
But what's the answer? Price controls?
No. I'm just.
Well, the answer is don't have COVID.
Grow your own food?
No.
No, when COVID comes, you don't shut down the economy.
No, I think I'm not in favor of price controls.
Okay.
I'm just diagnosing the problem. I don't have a treatment for it. They'll keep doing this until the economic reality is I stop buying Diet Cokes, and then the prices will come down.
But what if you're addicted?
Well, I'm not addicted. I could quit anytime I wanted.
The same one he's pointing at you.
Anyway, about every once every 6 or 7 months, I have this soapbox moment, and now I feel like I have vented.
You have,
and I can go on.
Right.
And the venting followed you. You did take a break for a month or 2 or 3 with the Diet Cokes, didn't you? Was it about a month?
This also happens about every 2-3 years. I tell my wife I'm quitting Diet Coke, and I'm going to have one Diet Coke, and then and I've done better.
But you did.
I have 2 Diet Cokes, and then I drink water. But I can feel its grip tightening. I'll probably go back to throwing away.
Well, when you said quit,
caution.
though, you didn't tell her for how long, though. You did quit.
Oh, I
You
never
just
said
quit.
I never said I would quit completely.
You know what? The spirit's willing, but the taste buds are weak.
That is absolutely correct. Absolutely correct.
All right, Steve is here. Steve Paisley Jordan with Ed.
I'm enjoying the discussion.
Ed Price Control Vitagliano. And Wesley, I agree with Ed. Wildmon is here with us. And then I'm Tim, Free Enterprise Wildmon here. I believe in the free market. And
boy.
And the American way. Go ahead, Steve. What's your next story?
All right. Tim Robber Baron Wildmon.
colluding with the billionaires to mess up the little man.
That's right. We got to get our own little man.
It's time to unionize.
Oh, brother, where art thou? That was an old brother, where art thou?
What was that line?
We got to get our own little man. You remember the politician? Yeah. I'm with the little man, and he actually had a little man there and sweeping out, and then the incumbent, his son was saying, well, maybe we need to get our own little man. Anyway,
Go ahead, Steve.
When you take political advice, do you like to get it from your celebrities?
Absolutely.
Isn't it?
They're brilliant.
Is it important to you what a country music star or an actor or an actress has to say about politics?
You betcha.
Well, it is to the.
I personally look to Jack Black.
Well,
that's the first source I go to if
I'm a
I
Robert
want
De
my.
Niro fan.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I mean, it does matter to the women on The View. I can say that.
Right.
So Kenny Chesney, who's a country music superstar, he was visiting Bill Maher on Bill Maher's Club Random podcast, and they got to talking about, do you do politics? And Chesney said this, quote, "I've never felt like it was my place. I never sought to be my place to use my stage or platform, no matter where I'm playing, to tell people how to think or how to vote. Like, they get that everywhere else, everywhere on every device, every network. They're here at his concerts as an escape from all that stuff." Well, that didn't set too well with the women, some of the women on The View. This is what they had to say, Cut 13.
So this is his choice to stay silent on politics, but what's wrong with people who want to speak up and who do speak up? I mean,
Well,
don't
like
they
say-
vote also?
Yeah, like Bruce Springsteen. Springsteen walks the walk. He talks about politics. He's a great talent. He can afford it. I don't know if Kenny Chesney has the same kind of money.
He can afford it. Yeah. One of the most
well, I
popular
think that if you
country
can
singers in the
afford
world.
it, you certainly should speak up. It's an American obligation in a certain way.
Yeah, but it's not for everybody.
Yeah.
It's not everybody's ability.
I think two things can be true at the same time. Here, we've talked about this before. Listen, Kenny Chesney is a country music superstar with a lot of crossover appeal to the general public. I mean, he's been around 30 years with hit after hit after hit. So I'm kind of surprised he did an interview with Bill Maher, because I've never seen him out there doing those kinds of political type interviews. He's mostly just stuck with his music and everything. But listen, both things, as I say, can be true. Bruce Springsteen is a rock superstar, and everybody knows his songs and his career. He's a left-wing, guy. I don't care.
Right.
I still like Born in the USA. I'm not going to take him. He hasn't crossed the threshold to me to take him off a playlist or anything like that, or cancel him. Bruce Springsteen, I'm talking about. Now, I vehemently disagree with a lot of things that he's been saying lately, especially his take on ICE. But we still live in a free country where people have the right to express their opinions. And if Bruce Springsteen wants to go out there, he's beyond canceling, right or left. Kenny Chesney's beyond canceling, right or left. You may be able to cancel somebody who's emerging as a artist or a singer or a movie star if they say the wrong thing politically, but those two guys, you're not going to be able to cancel. So I don't have a problem with Bruce Springsteen doing what he wants to do, and if people don't want to go to his concerts or buy his albums or whatever, that's fine too. Kenny Chesney, on the other hand, I kind of more respect his view, and agree with his view. I do agree with his view more. I think when people look to singers and entertainment and concerts, for example, they go to be entertained. They go to, as Kenny Chesney says, escape the rhetoric and the news and the politics of the day and just have a good time listening to music, for example, at a Kenny Chesney concert. So, and that's what he's saying. He said, I don't feel like it's my job to tell people how to think or who to vote for when they came to hear me sing songs. And they pay good money.
And Michael Jordan.
I know Ed wants price controls on concerts. I know that's where we're headed with this, but I think so. You see what I'm saying by saying two things can be true at one time? I think Bruce Springsteen, go for it, but Kenny Chesney, I think, is the approach that most people would prefer.
The Michael Jordan wisdom is appropriate here too. When he was asked why he doesn't do politics, he says Republicans buy tennis shoes too, and all kinds of different stripes go to Kenny Chesney concerts. I wonder if the people, the gals on The View, would be so generous if they were talking about John Rich or John Voight.
Oh, John Voight, yeah. I'm not sure who John Rich is.
Well, for them, it probably depends on what cause you're speaking out on.
Conservative country.
Jason Aldean is also a superstar country music, and he's been pretty outspoken, linked with President Trump and supporting conservative causes. Go ahead, Wesley.
Yes.
Hasn't he?
He has, but if you notice in almost all of these cases, he is being forced to take a stand because the media will interview him and ask him about that. And now, he obviously taking a stand. My point is, it seems to me like the liberal media always wants to get.
Well, but when you sing songs like "Try That" in a small town,
yeah, that's true.
That's a political message he intended to get out, and he's asked about it.
That's right. Yeah. That's right.
I would also, I agree with what you guys are saying. And the only thing I would add is to kind of underscore what you're saying, Tim, is no one's going to listen to Kenny Chesney just because he's conservative. They will if he's a lousy
if
singer.
He is, I don't know.
No, I'm saying if he's a lousy singer. Okay.
Oh, I know.
You listen to artists because you like their music.
No, absolutely.
And then the politics is a secondary consideration.
But now you said we've talked about this in our show prep meeting. You said you canceled Robert De Niro from your movie list, right?
Yeah, he's probably the only one that, and it's not. It's not really. It's not
you
really.
Did who?
Jim Carrey.
Jim Carrey. So you've canceled Jim Carrey in your playlist? Okay, go ahead.
It's not really. I don't know if it's canceling or not. Here's the thing that I said this morning, and I'll be happy to say it on the air. Is I understand that the people who are acting on a screen in a movie, they're probably their private lives, their beliefs are not mine. But I set that aside because their character in the movie or the TV show is compelling, what have you. But with Robert De Niro, I can't set it aside. I can't look at him as an actor.
Even if you're drinking Diet Coke.
Yes.
Doesn't matter.
I can't look at his character and not see Robert De Niro.
I got you.
And that when you cross that line, I can no longer pretend you're the character. I'm going, you're Robert De Niro and you hate my guts and you hate President Trump. And like you said, Steve, I can't unsee that. I can't unhear it. And to me, that's the danger that a celebrity, that's the danger that a celebrity runs the risks when they're politically outspoken.
You canceled Robert De Niro. Wesley's canceled Jim Carrey. Mm-hmm. And you've canceled who, Steve?
I'm not. I've stopped listening to Barbra Streisand. She was such a beautiful voice.
Why?
Oh, she's very leftist.
Okay, so you canceled Barbra Streisand.
Kind of, yeah.
It's just hard to. It's hard to leave reality.
Okay.
And get.
But hold on. Let me confess though. I'm a hypocrite though because there's other ones I do listen to.
Right, but Jim Carrey just. But makes it you get a burr in your saddle.
I've seen too many of his interviews. That's the problem.
Yeah,
it's one too many.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
what about you?
I've had to take "Wind Beneath My Wings" off my playlist because I can't listen to Beth. I can't.
Bette Midler.
I've canceled her.
Yeah.
Bette Midler. Actually, the truth is, I never had.
That's right.
I never had "Wind Beneath My Wings" on my playlist.
On your playlist,
but it's a great song.
Yeah.
But Bette Midler, yeah, she's. I don't know. I don't want to. But she's not out there anymore hardly. She's way past her prime. I don't know if she knows it or not.
So is Barbara. So is Robert De Niro.
Robert De Niro.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey's hanging on, maybe. We got Ace Ventura #6 coming out sometime.
I hope not, because I'm gonna want to go see it.
I think he peaked with Dumb and Dumber.
He did. Yeah.
So you're saying you've had those?
So you're saying there's a chance?
You've had those gloves
the whole time.
The whole time. Yeah, we're in the Rockies. All right, we'll see you tomorrow, everybody. Have a good day. Keep listening to AFR.